Hello everyone, and welcome to my tutorial on Elite Dangerous. Now, this is a beginner's tutorial, so we'll be covering basically the keyboard controls and just accomplishing your first mission. I'll try and keep it short, but there is a fair bit to it, so bear with me. It's quicker to watch this than fuck around on your own anyway. Rightio, so your first options are, on the start screen you have Arena, which is a dogfighting component, which we're not going to worry about at the moment. We're worried about solo play and open play. Now, they're both the multiplayer universe. The only difference is in open play you can see other real commanders and they can see you, and in solo play you can't see them and they can't see you. So to start off with, I suggest solo play, which is what we'll do. Now, it can be a little bit daunting because of the controls and what have you, but once you get your head around it, it really is a top game. Absolutely love this game. Now, so we're just going to go over the very basics. If you're familiar with all the basics, then please go ahead and check out some of my other videos. But this is just for brand new beginners. Okay, so we're at the start screen here. You got the option of Starport Services, Return to Surface or Launch. Now, the W and S key or the arrow keys move it up and down. Spacebar to select Starport Services because we want to actually go into the station. And this is the station menu. Now, commodities market, where you buy and sell your trade goods. Mission board, which is where we'll be going. It's where you get combat and data transfer missions. Passenger lounge is where you get missions that relate to taking people places and obviously stuff like that. Your contacts is where the black market is, search and rescue. Your interstellar factions contact once you've got a few factions aligned with you. This is also where your material data trader will be. So your materials and your data trader will be in here, and they're not on every station obviously. There's not one on this one. Back out of that. Now, your universal cartographics are just for when you've started to explore and you've scanned places. That's where you go to sell it. Crew lounges, once you've been playing for a while and you've got a bigger ship that has a fighter hangar, then you can employ a NPC to actually fly your ship or the fighter when you're stopped in normal space in combat, which is really cool. To refuel that. Remote workshops, just when you have access to some engineers and you have some blueprints. Outfitting, I'll just quickly go into that. Here's your ship. This is an Asp Explorer. You'll have a Sidewinder at the start. Hard points. Now this is where you can change out your weapons. I've only got a couple on this because I use this primarily as a transporter and I run from fights rather than fight because the passengers don't like you fighting. Utility mounts, where you put your chaff launchers and your ECM systems and wake scanners and things like that we'll get to later on. Your core internal is your power plants, thrusters, your frameshift drive. Now these all start out as an E. You can see the size of the slot on the side. Okay, so this life support is the basic one. It's a 4E. Now I could upgrade that to a 4D, 4C, 4B and a 4A. Just like this frameshift drive, when I first got it would have been a 5E when I bought this ship, but I've upgraded it to a 5A, which is the best upgrade you can fit in this size slot, and that signifies I've had the engineers work on it, so it's actually been modified as well. So that's upgrading really. So the size slot is equivalent to the size on the side here. You can't put a bigger or smaller component, it's got to be the same size. So that's what limits the ship in that respect. So you can upgrade all these components obviously, but the limiting factor is the size of the slot. So we can go back out of there. Your internal, now this is where you're going to set your ship up. You'll have cargo racks if you want to do some transporting of materials and what have you, do a bit of trading. This is your shield generator. I don't get into combat with this, so I've only got it on this so I don't bump into planets and things. So it's the most basic unit. It's a 5E, which is also the lightest, so therefore you get the most jump range. Doesn't slow you down as much. I've got a planetary vehicle hangar because this is actually Elite Dangerous Horizons, so I can land on planets. This is the Scarab vehicle that you actually use when you're on planets to drive around. You can't get out and walk around, but you use that to go and find rocks and mine things, and find ancient ruins and what have you. Fuel scoops, you need them if you're going to go on long runs, because you need to scoop fuel from suns, because once you get out of the human habitated zone there's no petrol stations. It's just stars, so you've got to have a set of those. Docking computer, self-explanatory. It assists you to dock. You don't start out with one of these. I suggest you buy one as soon as you can. And these surface scanners and what have you, just for when I go exploring, which we don't really need to know about now. Try and keep this as short as we can. Stored modules for modules that you've worked and you have upgraded and you don't want to sell when you sell a ship. You can actually store the modules and sell the ship, and that way if you get another ship which has the same size module slot, you've already got the upgraded module just to slip straight into it. So we'll go back out of there. Now missions is what we're going to do first. Now at first you're only going to have a very small frameshift drive, only capable of 3 to 4 light year jump range, so you've got to keep that in mind. But otherwise this fucking mission board takes forever to load, I don't know. Here we go. Now the factions are down the side. You don't have to worry about them too much right now, because you're not going to get into the political side of it just yet. So I suggest you just pick one. I'm in a Federation starport, so here it's got these factions of Federation aligned, because you can tell by that cross icon there, it's Federation. So what I suggest when you first start is just working for one group, or maybe two, so that you can build up your reputation as quick as you can, which is this bar here, because the quicker you build your reputation up, the more reputation you have unlocks more missions, and it also unlocks the missions that pay most. So you want to build up your reputation with a faction first, and it doesn't really matter which faction, just pick one and do their missions. Once you're up into Allied, which is this one here, it goes cordial, friendly and allied, then you get missions worth several $1 million, and you're really making some money. And you can do that quite quickly. Just all you have to do is just focus, just doing missions for these guys and taking the reputation for it. Okay, so we'll have a look. We just want to do a boom data delivery, okay, just to show you guys what's going on. So here you have a boom data delivery. We're going to get paid 42,530 credits, and you can get triple reputation and triple influence points from it. So we'll click on that. It says here we need to deliver data to Garrett Port in the Ross 93 system. Then it goes on to explain blah blah about it. Hostile ships might be sent against you. You need to plan your journey in the galaxy map, which I'll show you. These are the 3 reward choices you'll have. At first I suggest you take this one up the end that's got the 3 pluses on the reputation, because that'll build your reputation up quicker. Yes, you don't get many credits for it, but you get to where the missions pay a lot more really quickly, so it really does pay for itself in the long run. Down here is the starport you need to go to. The arrival point, which is estimated, is the distance the station is from the star that you arrive at. So, in this case it's 534 light seconds, which is great. You've got to be careful, because some missions can go out to 300,000 light seconds, and it can take you like 3/4 of an hour to actually fly there. So at first just take if you can, take ones with the less light seconds from the star. So we'll take this mission, so we just hit accept. Now we back out. Make sure you refueled, all that. I think I've explained pretty much what that is at the moment, enough to get us going. Okay, now the left and right panels. If you click one, your left panel comes up. Click 1 again, it goes back to the front. 4, your right panel goes up. Your right panel is just your statistics there. At the moment, it's combat rank, your trade rank, your balance. You hit the E key, it changes over to your modules. Now I'm actually going to go down and turn off, so I've got a docking computer, and there, I'm going to turn that off so that when I go to dock I'll have to do it manually so I can show you, otherwise the docking computer will take over. So that's literally where you come in and you can turn components on and off to save power, and repair them and what have you. I'll get to that later on. Fire groups is, you have to set these at first so that like the multi-cannons there, they're set to fire group 1. If I move that little circle with the arrow keys, I press that, it goes to 2. All that is mouse button 1 or 2, which one you want to fire. So I want mouse button 1 on both of those, so I press mouse button 1 and both multi-cannons fire. Okay, inventory is obviously just what's in your ship's cargo. Materials, you can pick up as many as you like and it doesn't affect your cargo because they're the components that you need to upgrade your ship and what have you. Data, synthesis, cabins if you've got one, passengers. Functions, we can get to that later, there's nothing there you need to know about right now. So we'll close that by hitting 4, we'll go to 1, navigation menu, hit E, go to transactions. Now this is where the missions that you've accepted will be displayed, and if we go down to that one, that's the one we've just accepted, we can hit spacebar, it gives us details of the mission. We go over to galaxy map, hit the spacebar, and it brings up the galaxy map and bases the focus. Now see this icon, that's the one you got to look for. This little orange icon means that we have a mission based in this system, so that's great. We've focused on that star, we go over and we click plot route, okay, and the computer plots us a route. Now you have to make sure when you first start off that you only take a mission that you can reach. So if your light years only, if your frame drive only can jump 5 light years, then you can't take a mission that's further than 5 light years from the planet you start on, unless there's another planet that you can hop to first, and then you can hop to the planet you want to go to. But if the planet distance is too far and there's no other planets in the middle, you can't get to that planet. So at first that's a real pain in the ass when you've only got a small frame shift drive. I've got a good one, so it's not an issue for me. So now we've selected that planet and it's mapped in the route, so we exit out and we launch, which is 2 down, press the spacebar. Now the controls are the W and S is faster and slower, A and D, your typical keyboard controls. Tab makes you boost. Now we're on a
ship released.
we're not in a station, we're on an outpost here, so we're on an outside dock, so it's easy to get away. All you've got to do is press the R key, which is your thruster for lifting you up. The F key brings you down if you go too high, so we hit the R key, we're up. W key moves your thruster forward, as you can see, and we're on our way. It's pretty simple. Hit the L key,
landing gear retracted.
Retract your landing gear. Now you have the cross to your left of the main indicator screen there. There's an orange cross with a circle, and you can see a blue dot going around the outside of it. What you want to do is get that blue dot to be solid, and that means you're facing where you need to go. If the blue dot is hollow, then I'll show you. Go back around here, pick up a bit, slow down a bit so I can maneuver. Blue dot's gone hollow, that means we're actually facing away from the target. So we need to turn around. So the blue dot is solid and yes, in the middle of the cross, and we're facing where we need to go. Simple as that. Right, now we need top speed, W key right up, and we hit J for
frameshift
jump.
Drive charging.
And this will boost us into frameshift. Now when you come out of this, you'll be right on top of a star, so be prepared to hit the X key which is the stop, or move to the side or whatever you say, you don't slam into the star.
3, 2, 1. Engage.
And we move through hyperspace, and there we are.
Incoming mission critical message.
Yeah. We just move out of the way of the star like that
Fuel
first,
scoop
and
disengaged.
hit X to stop. Then you hit the 1 key. Okay, over to transactions, and it says updated, so we can go down, and we can actually look at that, but it won't tell us the update. To find the update itself, we need to go, to the comms panel, which is the 2 key, and the E key moves it over to where your mail is, and we've got a time bonus, so we hit space on that, and it says if we get there in 16 minutes, less than 16 minutes, we'll get $45,000 credits bonus, so that's real cool. No worries. Hit the 2 again to come to front view to get rid of that. Now we need to go to the local map to plot our course, so we hit the 1 and E, back to navigation, down to system map and the space bar, and it'll open the system map. Now this is where we need to go. See the orange icon, which shows us all through the missions where you need to go, so we click on that to focus there. Now we don't hit plot route because we're already in the system, you just hit the highlight icon, and that highlights the station we need, so we can exit out of that. And now that blue circle in our compass is set to the station, which is Garrett Port, and it's 521 light seconds away. So we up speed with the W key. Now have a look, you'll notice there's a blue line on the inside of the thruster control. Okay, so the thruster itself, by moving up and down, it's blue now. You need to keep that orange line, which is the thrust you actually have, the speed you actually have. You need to keep that in that blue, within the blue line there, or it'll overrun. And if it overruns, you shoot past, and it's a real pain in the ass. So for the purpose of this, we're just going to go in slowly, which is what you want to do the first few times until you get the hang of it. Just keep your thrust roughly in the middle. Now as you go, see that it popped up? The closer you get to the star, you have to slow down. So you can't just set one speed and leave it, you have to keep slowing down. The computer will actually slow it down for you fairly well. The auto pilot does a pretty good job of handling the throttle once you've slowed down, so we can basically leave that and it'll coast in on its own and we won't overrun. So we're getting closer to the port. You can see the you can see the display of the actual port itself. So it isn't a station, so we have to land on the outside. And I'll be landing without my docking computer, which will be interesting because I almost never do that because I love my docking computer. But for the purpose of this, we'll give it a crack. So as we get closer, you've got to watch that speed, keep slowing down. Okay, so it does take a little bit to get there. Elite's based on sort of real-time things rather than just pressing a button and appearing where you need to be. So really you should go around. See this orbital ring? You really want to go around it because you get caught in that planet's gravity well, and that slows us right down. But we're not going to worry about it for this, we're just going straight to it. Easiest path. You can see we're getting closer. Once that gets down to 1 million miles, it will say disengage ready, and we can hit the J key, and that'll drop us out of Super Cruise. And we'll be back in real space next to the station. And here we go. Now, J. Now there's the station. We're going to hit X to stop so I can talk for a second. Now you've got to be within 7.5 kilometres of the station, so we'll speed up a bit, so that you can request docking. It's a sequence you have to go through at every station. So once we're 7.5 right there, we're just going to stop we go to hit 1, then we hit E twice over to contacts. Garrett port's the one we want, so we select that with the space bar. Hit down to request docking, space bar,
Docking request.
hit the 1 again.
Granted.
Now, you'll see there's a little yellow just here. That's highlighted now. So it says I need to proceed to landing pad 3. So we give it some juice because you've got 10 minutes to get it right. And what we need to do is just come in on a good angle. It actually has arrows once you get there to see which way you have to face. So this can be a real pain in the ass when you first start, but bear with me. A couple of missions you can buy a docking computer or you'll get better at this. So. Yeah, pull her up. If it's going to pull up, pull up. Yep, right there. Yeah, actually we want to back her up a bit. So we're stopped there. Now you use your F and R keys to lower. Okay. So we want to come down. That's with the F key. It's bringing us down. Hit L for your landing gear. And we'll come down.
Landing gear deployed.
Right, now you can see there's a different screens opened up. Now we need to get the
Scan
ship.
detected.
I'll go back up a bit so we can actually see it. The red dot needs to be in the middle of that bullseye. Right there. And you stop. Whoop, stop, you bastard. Forward a bit more. There. Okay. Then you hit the F key. Bring her down, bring her down, bring her down.
Docking
And we're
successful.
docked, bitch.
Engines disengaged.
And spacebar into Starport Services. Go over to mission board. Let the bitch load up again. Takes a while. And then we can complete this mission and collect our reward. And that'll be the end of this tutorial. And we'll go into some more detail in the future tutorials, and also I highly recommend buying Voice Attack because it makes this game so much easier. I'll be doing a tutorial with Voice Attack shortly. It just changes this game, makes it so much better. So we're back into the mission board. Here, hand-in mission, that's the one we've just completed, the boom data delivery, complete mission, so we click on that. We get our choice of 3 what we want. Now at the start I suggest you take this one here with the reputation because it gives you the most reputation. Okay, it's the less credits but most reputation, so it'll pay out in the long run, trust me. Click on that one and you'll see the bar go up
Incoming
here.
message.
See, dunk. So now we're cordial. So we're now able to take 3 out of their 5 missions, you know. So the higher up you get, the more missions you can have and the more money they'll pay you. So there you have it, and thank you very much. I hope you enjoy the game and I hope you enjoyed this tutorial, and yeah, have a good day.